Today we're going to be talking about the difference between open and closed-ended questions. Pause this video as much as you need to make sure you write all the highlights and important information from each of the slides. Remember, you can use your notes on tests, so it is in your best interest to take the notes. Alright, what is a closed question? This is going to be a specific question looking for a specific fact. So, did you finish your homework? Yes or no? A lot of times these types of questions only require one word or really limited answers. You're kind of giving them a choice. What time did you leave? 3 o'clock. Are you going to buy lunch? No. Who won the football game? The Tigers. So it's looking for a specific fact, not a lot of details. You're not asking anything beyond a factual type question. For your notes, make sure you have the definition of a closed question, and then I would highly encourage you, for testing purposes, to write down 2 to 3 of those example questions down below. Remember, pause this so you have time to type. There are some advantages. These are really good for finding out specific information, right? And it helps make decisions quickly. If you're in an emergency situation, let's say there's a car accident and you see it happen, you pull over, you run over to help the people, are you going to start talking about feelings and asking their opinions on things? No, you need to make quick decisions, right? So, are you hurt? Do you need an ambulance? Is anyone else inside the car? Types of questions like that. Yes, no. Yes, there's someone in the car. No, I don't need an ambulance. Whatever. Those make quick decisions. There's less chance of communication, right? If I ask you, are you mad? And you say no, then that's really clear communication. It's also easier to analyze. Let's say I'm taking a survey of the customers of my store. I own a store, and let's say you do an online order for a new pair of jeans, and then it says, please take this quick survey. If customers for my online store take this survey and I ask, are you or are you not satisfied with your customer service that you received today? That's really easy to analyze, that yes, no, because I can look at the numbers and I can directly say, for example, 93% of customers said they were satisfied with our customer service. So it's easy to analyze that way. They're also more likely to, the respondent is the person responding to or answering the question. They're more likely to answer about sensitive topics. So some people might not want to admit they're upset or sad or whatever about a situation. So you can just say, are you okay? And they might say no. And then that may open a conversation to where you could listen or let them vent, whatever. But if you're like, tell me all of your emotions about everything that just happened in the last couple days, that is more likely going to be something they're not going to answer. There are some disadvantages here. Obviously, it's not going to be the best choice always for emotional situations. If you're in a fight with someone, you might not want to use a closed question because you're limiting them. You're only giving them yes, no, right, wrong type of answers. This is not going to be effective if you want the person to express their feelings. Again, not the best in an emotional or stressful situation. If you want to hear more of what they're feeling or their opinions are, don't use closed questions. The respondent might think their answers are irrelevant. Have you ever had someone who's so convinced that you did something, or they're so convinced that you're in a certain type of mood that you could say, no, I'm fine, and they just keep right on going and they don't even listen to you? You're going to feel like your answer doesn't even matter because they didn't even listen. You didn't get a chance to share your side or your opinion. You just said yes or no. Next, the respondent might not have an opinion or might not be knowledgeable. Sometimes there's videos of journalists and reporters going around, and they'll go to college campuses, for example. They'll put the microphone in someone's face and say, are you for or against this political policy? And then a lot of times, it's kind of sad at college campuses, but a lot of times these students are like, I absolutely love this policy, or I absolutely hate this policy. And the reporter will ask, well, why do you have that opinion? Well, I just don't like it. A lot of times they're not really knowledgeable about the subject. So are you really getting a valid answer that's really authentic from the person? Not exactly, because they don't really know how to answer the question because they don't have the knowledge. If they don't have an opinion, like if I came up to you and I said, hey, stock market B and stock market C, they traded equal shares on Wall Street. So do you think that's a good idea? you're probably not really going to have an opinion because you probably don't care about the stock market or trade. So in that case, you just kind of shrug. I don't have an opinion. And then misinterpretation of questions can go unnoticed. Because it's so direct, I might misunderstand what you're saying, but because I'm only giving you a yes or no answer, you don't realize that I didn't understand you correctly. That's some leeway to possibly get some emotions involved. All right, what is an open question? Remember, you need the definitions and then at least one or two of the questions in blue down at the bottom. An open question allows the person responding to develop their ideas without limiting responses or controlling them. They require more than one-word answers. So these are just longer answers. What are your thoughts about? What all did you do over the weekend? Did you hear about what such and such said? What do you think about that? You're leaving it open for them to express their opinions and ideas. Now, the good side of this is it can help solve problems, right? Instead of me going up to you and saying, "Are you mad?" and then you just say yes or no, that kind of leaves us still in the same spot. I got an answer, but it's not helping to resolve the issue. So we can solve problems with these open questions. I think you're a little frustrated with me and I'm not really sure what I did wrong. Can you tell me what happened? And now they're open to share their feelings and opinions. Second bullet, respondents can include more information like those feelings I just mentioned, and they can give you extra detailed information. So if you need detail in your communication, then this is the way you want to go. If I am an investigator trying to solve a murder crime, am I going to go with open questions or closed questions? Do I want just a yes, no? Or do I want details and extra information? Probably open questions, right? I'm not going to say, did you murder such and such with the knife? Yes or no? No. They're going to ask you detailed information. Where were you on this night? That's an open question. Do you know this person very well? Describe your relationship to this person to me. Do you know what their normal routine was? These are all open questions to get more detailed information. Disadvantages, though, sometimes this can make the answer subjective. So if I hold, let's say, a basketball, and I'm like, this basketball is orange. Let's say it's your standard basketball. That can be pretty subjective because everyone looks at it and sees that it's orange. However, if I say, this movie is awful, this is really, really poorly done, that's subjective. Everyone's going to have a different opinion. So that can cause a disadvantage of miscommunication or people getting frustrated, or sometimes things just don't come across because people are subjective in different ways. You also might not get a complete answer. So what if you are in a relationship and maybe you're really upset and I don't know why you want to break up with me. I don't understand what's going on. I thought we were happy. Like what's going on right now? Why did you say you wanted to break up? Open question. Here's your incomplete answer. Well, I just have school and I have practice, tons of homework lately. Like, I do care about you and, we have been having a good time, but there's just so much going on right now. I'm just stressed and I just got to focus on some other stuff. Okay, was that a yes or a no? That could kind of go either way. Longer response time. Obviously, if you have a longer message or opinion that you're sharing, it's going to take longer. Sometimes it can also be difficult to compare answers to questions. They might beat around the bush, or they might go off on a tangent around other things. So sometimes they can give you an answer, but it doesn't really relate to the question. All right, double-barreled questions. Be careful with these. This is a question with two or more separate issues or topics, but you can only have one answer, aka a double direction question. These should not be used hopefully not used in your day-to-day life, and definitely not in the business communication setting. This is mostly used in court to trick witnesses or suspects into admitting something unintentionally. So on a test or a quiz, if you see a question and it uses the word and or, that's a big sign that this is going to be a double-barreled question. Let's look at an example. So let's say that there is a car wreck that happens, and it was between you and another vehicle, and the worst happened. The person in the other vehicle, let's say they're in a coma or something, they had a head injury. They can't answer questions. They are only asking you. You're in the courtroom. You're on the stand and a lawyer comes up to you and they're trying to get you to admit to being a distracted driver. Okay. Your story, as you remember it, is that you were driving down the road and you noticed this car that was pulling out and making a turn. And you saw the car, you were aware of it, and you were aware of the space that you had in between them and that it was okay. You looked down, changed the radio station really quick, looked back up, and then all of a sudden the car hit you head on or on the side, whatever. So the lawyer comes up to you and says, as you approach the intersection, did you look down, change the radio station, then look up, and for the first time, notice the oncoming car? Well, this backs you into a corner, right? Well, yeah, you looked down and changed the radio station, but that wasn't the first time you noticed the oncoming car. You already saw it. You were aware of that car. You were not being a distracted driver. So if you say, yes, you did all those things exactly as described, you're admitting guilt to something that you really didn't even do. If you say no to everything, the lawyer is going to turn around and say, we have you on a surveillance camera at the intersection. We saw you on the camera through your windshield looking down and then looking back up very, very shortly before that impact happened. So you're telling me you didn't change the radio station and you lied about all this? So these double barrel questions are really tricky because they can get you in a lot of trouble if you say all yes or all no. If someone approaches you with a question like this, the best thing to do is break it down. If someone came up to me and asked me this question in a courtroom, I would have to say, okay, no, that was not the first time I was aware of the oncoming car. Did I look down and change the radio station for a second, then look back up? Yes, I did. But I noticed the oncoming car before I would change the radio station. So they're phrasing in a way for you to answer this as a yes-no close-ended question, but definitely address all the parts of this multiple-faceted question. All right. There's an activity that should be uploaded in Schoology for you. It is going to be a worksheet version of this game. If you've played it before, you can skip this part and go ahead and do the activity. If not, listen to the instructions really quick. It's going to be you and a partner, so a friend, classmate, family member, whoever's around you, and you're each going to have a sheet of people on it, and each one has a name and distinguishing features like a mustache, glasses, different types of hair, hats, etc. Silently in your mind, you're going to pick one of these as your person. The partner that you're playing with is also going to pick a random person. Keep that in your mind. Do not let them know who you picked. Then you're going to trade back and forth with one question that needs a yes or no answer. You're trying to figure out which person they picked. For example, if I'm playing this guy in blue right here, I'm going to say, is your character wearing glasses? They're going to say yes or no. If they say yes, they're wearing glasses, then I'm going to scratch out on my paper all the ones that are not wearing glasses. Is your person wearing a hat? Does your person wear earrings? Is your person a female? Is your person looking to the left? Does your person have black hair? Does your person have a backpack? Etc., etc. All yes or no questions. Then at the very end, hopefully you'll be able to find the person that you picked and the person that they picked. That's the activity, and that is the summary of our open and close-ended questions.